A year and a half ago, I randomly got a call on an early Saturday morning that the legendary, extremely hard to get, popular Ford Maverick was available. It was a galvanized gray XL 2-liter all-wheel drive, and I quickly scurried to my work and I purchased that 2023 Ford Maverick 2-liter all-wheel drive, and after putting 6,500 miles on it, I sold it 6 months later, which the same day I sold it, I bought that 2023 Ford Maverick XL Hybrid front-wheel drive. 6 months after that, I bought that 2024 Ford Maverick Lariat FX4. Today, I'm going to tell you what it has been like driving a Ford Maverick for a year and a half.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Performance on Wheels. My name is Todd. My son Austin and I make all sorts of videos on all sorts of cars. Let's not forget one little item. Because we're watching this video today, we are the #1 Maverick channel on YouTube.
Over the past year and a half, I have put over 30,000 miles on Ford Mavericks. I have 3 friends that have Ford Mavericks. I've driven them lowered, I've driven them lifted, I've driven them stock. I'm going to tell you what my thoughts are, all the issues that I've had, and if I would buy a Ford Maverick again, as I am selling mine soon.
Hang on, based on what you said there, you haven't even driven one long enough to do an oil change.
I've actually done 4 oil changes on all the Mavericks that I've had. So,
all right, let's get into it.
Let's go ahead and start this video off with all the issues that I've had. I'm going to talk you through all of the issues I have had across the 3 Mavericks that I have owned and the 4 Mavericks that my close friends have owned.
Should I pull up a chair?
You could. So ultimately the biggest issue that I have had on any of these Mavericks was on the one that's right behind me, my 2024 Lariat. Right when I bought it, when I brought it home, it was leaking coolant everywhere. I bought this 2024 Ford Maverick Lariat and it is covered in coolant with 500 miles on it. Shooting a YouTube video today comparing my XL versus my new Lariat, and we lifted them up in the air to compare the undersides, and it just so happens to be that this thing is covered in coolant. There's coolant all over the place on the bottom half of this thing with 500 miles on it. Be sure to give me a follow or hit subscribe to see what the issue and what the culprit is. Everywhere. The entire underside of my Maverick was covered in coolant, which was soon realized when we lifted it up to shoot a YouTube video like we're actually doing today. We found out after I brought it in with less than 100 miles on it that it was just a coolant hose that was not properly installed from the factory. Then on my first Maverick that I ever had, the only issue that I ever came across was my third brake light was out. It just didn't work. It needed a new bulb. Not a big deal. Both of these have been covered under warranty. There's one issue that I have had and all of my friends have had that has not been covered under warranty, and that would be the infotainment screen on the XL and the XLT. The infotainment screen has caused multiple issues, lots of stuttering, lots of randomly going black, lots of the climate control stopping to work. Every single time that I've had one of these issues that has been solved by following the owner's manual by holding the power button and the fast forward button. See, this isn't a massive deal, but at the same time it is. On a new vehicle, 2022, 2023, 2024, whatever, on a new vehicle, this shouldn't have to be reset almost every single time, if not every other time that you drive the car.
That's frustrating.
Which is quite annoying. And on all of my friends' Mavericks, including the 2 that I have had in the XL for them, this has been an issue. With the Sync 3 system in my Maverick Lariat behind me, I have not had a single issue or fault once.
Opinion hasn't changed since day one, since the first time I experienced the Maverick. These are absolutely brilliant vehicles. Between the storage, the usability, the functionality, the gas mileage, everything just stacks up and compiles into just a nice small little package that makes it a very enjoyable experience, a very practical daily driver. It's fun enough to put a smile on your face just from zipping around town. And another thing I like that Ford really nailed with the Maverick is the opportunity for customization. The ability to make the Maverick your own, as obviously we have 2 different examples here of some radically different customizations, but that's kind of fun. You can take on small projects, you get a sense of accomplishment, bada bing, bada boom, Maverick goes down the road.
Over the course of the last year and a half, I have stacked up a long list of things that I don't like about it, and that list includes approximately nothing. On this entire list.
Where's this going here? We've got no maintenance issues, we got nothing you don't like.
I know. Well, that's the issue. These Mavericks are put together really well. I see a lot of people comment in forums about issues with cracks, rattles, rattly windshields, lots of interior noise. I haven't had any of it on any of the Mavericks that I've experienced. I've had 0 maintenance issues on things that I would truly be concerned about. I have had zero issues with anything, the way anything's laid out in these things. I've had zero issues with walking out to my Maverick, getting in it and driving it 2, 3, 4 hours on a road trip. I've had zero issues hooking up trailers to it. I've had zero issues with anything in my bed. I mean, I kid you not, guys. I have experience in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have experience in 8 different Mavericks that all have over 10,000 miles on them, except for that one, which has 6,500. No issues. These things are bulletproof. There was recently an article put out about the Maverick 2-liter, I'm not sure why it's not the hybrid, being the most reliable vehicle under, I think it was $25,000, some price range. It was rated as the most reliable vehicle. And I can 100% attest to that. I can attest to the same thing for the hybrid. Absolutely zero issues. I've done oil changes at 5,000 miles on each of them. They just are rock solid. Now, as rock solid as these Mavericks are, there is one thing that I am concerned about that nobody has truly figured out yet. Can you guess what that might be? In the future, what do I think these Mavericks are going to have an issue with?
Rust.
Rust. That is exactly what I think all of these Mavericks are going to come across at some point in their life. Unlike most Ford products, these Mavericks are not made entirely out of aluminum. They're also one of the cheapest new vehicles Ford has manufactured in quite a long period of time. So when we throw these things up in the air, the lack of overall protection and carpeting on things, the lack of quality components covering a large majority of things, the lack of throwing some paint or something on a lot of the just solid spots of just nothing, basically, I think these are going to rust out in the future. I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know how long they're going to last. My friend's Ford Maverick, he had a paint chip up on his roof and it was starting to rust with only 11,000 miles on it. On this example here, it has gone through one winter, and after thoroughly looking through every single corner, nook, cranny on it, I have not seen any rust yet, but on the underside components and the suspension part, some of the exposed bolts, the control arms and stuff, there is some surface rust that is absolutely starting. There's no doubt about it, but there's really no preventing that.
Yeah, there's very few vehicles, like I have the opinion in most cases that the whole underbody spray is a complete scam and a complete waste of money. I might consider it on the Maverick because there are articles, there is some commentary exactly as Austin is saying. The manufacturing process is, hey man, we're going to do this for cheap. We're going to give people a car they want. We're going to give people a car that's affordable, but it has to come at a cost. And some of that cost might be the protective coating.
If you are spending a large sum of money, which you are, I mean, they're not cheap. I mean, no matter what one you get, they're not cheap. Like, they're a lot of money. It's an investment. And if it's a vehicle that you plan to keep that investment in for a long period of time and you want it to last, that is probably the one thing that I would recommend on the Maverick, is either putting it up on a lift, spending some time yourself on taking a wire brush and taking a small chunk of paint coating off some of these areas and putting an actual real protective coating, whether it's bed liner, whether it's an actual undercoating, whether it's just a better coat of spray paint. Do something to prevent these from rusting.
I'm pretty sure,
I think it's going to happen.
I'm pretty sure in the factory they actually just use crayons.
Yeah, I think they do.
Yes.
What are my thoughts on the overall interior of the Maverick over the last chunk of time? On the XL and the XLT, the passenger seat sucks. I can't stand it. It sits up really high. There's no opportunity to lower it, and it feels awkward. And the Lariat, when you get the power driver seat and then the manually adjusting passenger seat, that gives you the up and down motion, it feels a heck of a lot more natural here in the Lariat. So that is the one thing that I kind of have to debunk on the XLT for the interior. And then boy, this is a hard video to make. Like,
it's like, hey, trying to give you guys some content, but there's really nothing but positive stuff to say.
Boy, I hope my Maverick would break so I'm able to put a video out for you guys, but gee, I mean,
Shucks, golly, gee whiz.
I mean, they're rock solid vehicles. If you guys are in the market for a Ford Maverick, over my last year and a half and 30,000 plus miles in these things, just go out and buy one. Like, there's a reason they were selling so far over MSRP. There's a reason they were in such high demand. These trucks are truly amazing. They're going to hold their value for a long period of time. They're great. They are truly great. That's all I can say over the last year and a half. I'm very happy with the Maverick. However, I am going to be selling this one. If you are interested, be sure to check out the link down in the description below. My reason for selling, I am at the age where I'm ready to pursue a home or pursue a house. My dad here is kicking me out, and this is my down payment right here. My entire down payment. I bought this thing to make YouTube videos for you guys, but it's time for it to go so I can move on with bigger and better things. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this brief video where I went through my last year and a half of Maverick ownership. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you soon.